Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I'm sorry we had to leave Jason Hart of Hook and the Apparel, but our two co-hosts were locked in a discussion there that I thought we might have to go into the eighth segment here as they tried to decide Jason Hart's trail to victory, so to speak. That we will have Jason back on. The Hook Apparel has been a story, American-made story that's pretty amazing in 6 years what they have done. Well, we can go to a young man right now that his career is pretty amazing, too, when you think about that what's happened to him. It's an inspirational story for a lot of you folks out there. And anytime I can get Ben Thompson on the show during these crazy times that we live in, that normally if things had been normal, Ben he'd be in Tokyo competing in the Olympics, and he's on Outdoors with Larry Ray. He's not in Tokyo. He's home right now. But let's talk to Ben Thompson, Paralympic archer Ben Thompson. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
How does it feel? I mean, when you think about where you should have been and where you're not, I mean, has it been an adjustment for you? Talk about that.
Definitely an adjustment. Obviously, for the year, this should have been a very busy year. So, start in January, we were, top of the rung, prepared, training like crazy, and we were just about to leave for Mexico, and world decided to come apart.
And it all happened during this time that you had a great 2019, and you were really on a high, weren't you? I mean, as far as what you've done and everything. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was probably, year-wise, the best year of my career.
Well, let's just say that.
Come out with some big wins there at Worlds, and
yes,
was on top of the world ranking board, and was really thought I was in stride and ready to roll into 2020, and the world had other plans.
Well, we've talked to Ben. If you don't know Ben's story about what he has been through, tell our listeners, Ben, how you got to where you are right now.
2010, I was in a motorcycle accident, and I was paralyzed from the waist down, and decided to, due to some input from doctor, picked archery to have an outlet and a drive again. And in 2014, started my career, and then kind of went from there, and then got me to finally winning world championships in 2019.
He says it so like just nothing happened in there. I mean, you you've got it in such a brief synopsis there, Ben. So much that went through, and I know. And you were 28 years old in 2010. You were hit by this car while you were driving on your motorcycle. A lot of things go through. I have a young friend right now in Memphis. It's getting ready to be shipped to Atlanta. A similar type thing here, an accident type thing. But I think you've taken this, you had an opportunity, you were an athlete, you had an opportunity to do something. So what turned the corner for you? How did you end up as an archer? Because I don't think you had you been a bow hunter very much in your young career?
When I was a kid, yes. Actually, I grew up in Illinois.
Okay.
And so actually, I that's actually the very first. That was the reason I picked up a bow, was to bow hunt. I went gun hunting with a shotgun one time and said never again. So I picked up the bow, and that way you could go hunt when you wanted to after school. You could go during October. You didn't have to pick one of the 2 weekends. You could go when the weather was decent. Didn't have to go out in the rain. So yeah, I enjoyed bow hunting actually.
And you
haven't done it in the chair though.
Yeah, I have not done it in your chair. You moved to Charleston, South Carolina. You worked for Bowen, if I'm not mistaken, during that time. So who introduced you? How did you get to Colorado Springs? How did you get to be a Paralympic? Talk about that.
Well, I mean, I picked up when I picked up the bow. I said, well, I mean, if you're gonna either do it for fun, or
Yeah.
I could give it all I had, and I thought, well, why not? Let's go for it. So I started training. Obviously, I mean, from 2014 till now, I've changed quite a bit, obviously, but I decided to go all in. If I was going to do it, I was going to give it everything I had.
So what
See if I could, could I be the best?
What kind of practice schedule did you have to go through to get to where? And what's your routine now for still staying in top shape to shoot the bow?
Well, when they shut us down in March, there, I backed way off. Took some time for family, home.
Yes.
Work got crazy, so you had to take more time there. Just tried to stay proficient, and then here this month we've started ramping back up the training and preparation for next year. They're going to open up training, or the first tournament for us is in August.
Okay,
August.
All right.
August in Virginia. It'll be nationals.
Okay.
So that'll be the start of, essentially for me, that'll be the start of getting back into stride. A normal routine. When I'm in peak, I usually like to shoot every other day minimum, and then my off days is a weightlifting, aerobic cardio day.
Okay. So. Yeah. And the bow you use, what about your equipment?
In 2018, 2017. Yes. 2017, I switched over to Matthews.
That's what I thought.
I've been shooting their TRX 8. I have Gen 1 and 2 of the TRX 8, and then this year I just got a TRX 40.
Oh, you did? Okay. And so
I haven't shot the 40 much yet, but
you got it. That's next on your step, right? So, and I know 2019 was a step, a year that you'll never forget. Not only did you win the gold medal in men's compound archery in the World Archery Pair Championships in the Netherlands, which I'm sure that you have. I don't know if you've been to the Netherlands many times, but won it there. Got number 1 in the world. You were ranked there. And then last November, we talked to you about that, being named the best male Paralympic athlete of the year, and a trip to Los Angeles, and to be honored about that. How did that feel to be up there with Simone Biles and all the rest of the great athletes?
It was very impressive. Actually, most memorable is I got to sit during the award ceremony. I got to sit next to Vincent Hancock.
Oh, did you, Vincent?
The skeet shooter, and he is was a great guy to meet. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, he's been on our show many times. In fact, I think he's on in 2 weeks.
Excellent.
A wonderful guy to do that. Again, we're talking to Ben Thompson out of Charleston, South Carolina. He is a Paralympic archer, a world champion, number 1, and would normally be in Tokyo. So does that go through your mind? Have you blocked that all out? I mean, how long did it take you to say I'm not going? And how do you put yourself together when you know you're not going to get to go to Tokyo this year? Did that hit you okay? I mean, you able to handle that?
Yeah, I mean, mixed feelings. Initially, like you said, I felt I was on top, ready to roll in and really make some waves. And then when it stops, you're like, your first is, no, don't take this away from me. And then, you realize that I'm just like all the other competitors. This just gives me a little time to relax, regroup, and then, go back into it. So I should be able to get back to it and ready to go.
I think, what are you, 37 now, Ben, or something like that?
Yep, be 38 this year.
And talk about your family. You got kids and everything, right?
Yeah, I have a 15-year-old boy. Just turned 15 this year.
Is he an archer?
No, he's not too big into the archery.
Oh, come on now. He's not, huh?
He prefers basketball and football.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll go. I remember you saying, you told us the last time you were on, when you won that world number 1 over the Netherlands and won that place to Tokyo, that you were kind of numb. I mean, I think that was what you called, if I remember it right, that the feeling was there, just kind of felt numb to you. Is that competitive edge still there? Have you tried to rejuice yourself or during the time off? And how do you do mentally right now?
Yeah, the what do they call it? The win hangover is real.
Yes. Oh, okay.
You reach the top, and then when the adrenaline's gone and the win's over, you're kind of like, okay, I did it. Do I really want to keep doing this? But so it is tough to stay mentally because, I mean, you just don't realize it when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then once you get it and you have that, now they've forced this long period of stop, so you can start thinking about it. You realize, man, do I really want to keep working this hard at this?
That's right. You're not a spring chicken anymore either. You got to.
Yeah, that is true. I am no longer. Yeah, I'm still young by some of the standards. Like most of my teammates are quite older, but
you're young in that.
It's aware.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you before we go. Words of wisdom from Ben Thompson for someone that's maybe out there listening to this that is going through something that you went through when you were 28 back in 2010. What's Ben Thompson's words of wisdom to those folks out there that need some encouragement?
That even though you're looking at a life that will be different, life is in no way, shape, or form over. I would say that my life after the accident, before I had a good life, and I would say after the accident, I've had an even more amazing life. I've been to countries, I've met people, I've been to tournaments and done things that I probably wouldn't have gotten to do had I not been hurt.
Wow.
So I would say just because life will be different, life can still be just as amazing as it would have been had you not had the accident.
Well, Ben, you're pretty amazing, buddy. Thank you for being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. I know my two co-hosts hadn't said anything, but I know they're listening to your testimony here. And Ben loves to tell people that challenge out there that if you've experienced this, no one can put themselves in Ben's shoes. I can tell you that for a fact. But you talk to the folks at Colorado Springs, you talk to the folks with the archery, any of them like that, and they will say that Ben Thompson is an inspiration to a lot of folks. Ben, thank you. I don't believe in luck, buddy. Just keep plugging away out there and keep shooting them straight, okay?
Will do. I appreciate it.
And we will stay in touch. All right, let's take a break. Hard to follow Ben Thompson, but we'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.